Fortnite is one of the biggest games in the world, and with that comes a lot of sweaty players.
My whole life I've played video games on a controller, but when it comes to a game like Fortnite, a controller is pretty limited.
I mean, just look at this clip on screen of me struggling to do a triple edit on controller. There are already people just starting on mouse and keyboard, and they can do triple edits way better than me, and I have years of experience on a controller. But anyway, after many years, I've finally decided that if I actually want to improve at Fortnite, I'm going to need to switch to mouse and keyboard.
But before we get into this video, just so you know, I did shrink down the clips a lot, so this video isn't like 2 hours long. And also, there will be two 1v1s in this video. The first one will be on the second day, and the second one will be on the 7th day.
But enough of me talking. This is my 1 week progression from controller to mouse and keyboard. Okay, so it is day 1, and to start off today, I'm going to be looking up a tutorial on YouTube on what some good keybinds are. This might just be me, but I think the default keybinds for Fortnite kinda stink. This video did show some pretty weird keybinds, but in the end, they're all pretty good when you think about it. The first thing I'm going to do to practice today is load into an editing map, so hopefully I can get a bit better at editing. I went all around this map trying out all the different things it had to offer. Of course, I stuck to the simple things since it's just day 1. Surprisingly, I did pretty good on the single and double edits of this map. The hard part, however, was when I reached the triple edit, and the only part that I was messing up on was the crosshair placement, which I'm going to work on later in this week. I kind of surprised myself over here on this type of wall edit, because I didn't think I'd be able to edit a wall and then a ramp. I even did pretty good on this part where you had to edit your way down. Once I was done trying to edit, I decided to go into my 1v1 build fights map and see how I did with building. For some reason, I decided that I wanted to try to crank 90s, but surprisingly, I actually managed to crank pretty good 90s. I surprised myself here because I'm just now starting out and I'm not even familiar with my keybinds yet. Like, it's gotten to the point where I have a Word document pulled up when I'm playing, so I remember all the keys. For some reason, I decided that I was going to try to build a box after I had tried cranking 90s, and let's just say me doing this did not end that well. To end off the day, I decided to try to do some double edits, and let's just say, just like the box, this did not go well. It is officially day 2, and today I will be 1v1ing with one of my friends, but before I do that, I think I need to practice a bit more because it's still only day 2 and I'm still pretty bad. I then loaded into my 1v1 map, and when I was waiting to get into the game, I realized something. If I actually want to improve on mouse and keyboard, I can't have keybinds that I can't remember, and I can't remember my present keybinds. So I made the decision to change my keybinds yet again.
Bruh.
Honestly, it's better to change them now than later in the week, but it's still annoying though because I'm going to have to change them, get used to them for like 5 minutes, and then hop straight into the 1v1. But on the bright side, at least now I can actually remember my keybinds without having to use a Word document. Once I loaded into my build fights map, I decided to try to crank 90s again, and they went pretty well. Although cranking 90s did go pretty well, we're just not going to talk about whatever I was doing here. After I felt somewhat confident with my builds and editing, I decided to try to do one thing that I had struggled with the past day. I had tried building a box, and to my surprise, I actually managed to build a box. I know that sounds terrible, but considering how bad I did at building a box yesterday, that's pretty good for me. With my newfound skill of building a box, I decided to invite my friend to my party, and we started the 1v1. When we started the first round, I was playing really weird, and I was twisting my mouse around. Since I was playing so weird, he easily defeated me both round 1 and round 2. I then told myself that I needed to lock in if I wanted to win this. I started playing less weird, and I actually managed to defeat him. We both kept scoring until the score reached 6-6. The pressure was on because, like, this is my first 1v1 and I really wanted to win it. Knowing this, I decided to actually really focus to the game and nothing else. And because of that focus, I managed to score myself 2 more points, meaning the score was now 9-6. All I needed was 1 more point and I would win the game. I was sweating and my heart was pounding, but I actually managed to lock in and get myself my first win out of the 1v1s I'll be doing. On day 3, I decided that I was going to try out my first ever game on mouse and keyboard. I decided that my first match would be on OG Fortnite and I loaded it into the game. When I landed, I found myself some decent loot and then managed to get my first elimination. That was until I ran into this guy who eliminated me. I then decided that I wanted to play another OG match because this one did not go well. When I got into the game, I found a couple of people fighting, so I decided to try to push them. And then this one kid beams me, so I decided that it was the best choice for me to run. I was pretty much running most of the game, and I only got my first elimination when there was less than 30 players left. After I got my first elimination, I managed to get myself a couple more. One of these fights hurt me badly, so I decided to try to use a campfire. And for some reason, I chose to forget what my move key was the exact moment I was standing on the fire. After I accidentally burnt myself alive, I moved around the map trying to find more people. I then found myself my 4th and 5th eliminations. It was now a 1v1v1. I knew if I wanted to win this game, I would have to play it pretty smart and only choose to fight people when I knew I could hit shots. One of the other players had died, and now it was a 1v1, but sadly, the final zone was really small, and he used a minigun on me. The first thing I decided to do on day 4 was load into a 1v1 map so I could 1v1 some people. As you can probably tell, this is my first time officially 1v1ing someone in a 1v1 map. This first fight seemed like it was lasting forever, until I did this. I didn't play too long, but I did manage to get myself a good amount of eliminations in the time that I was playing with this guy. After I felt somewhat confident with my 1v1ing abilities, I decided that today was the day I played my first ever Battle Royale match on mouse and keyboard. And let's just say that did not go that well. Bruh. I decided that I was going to play another Battle Royale match just because of how terrible that game went. In this game, I decided to land Seaport City, and I grabbed myself some good loot and managed to get my first 2 eliminations. After I'd eliminated everyone at Seaport City, I decided to get on the train. A little after I got on the train, I found myself a shotgun, so I jumped off the train, and then I found this guy right here. While I was eliminating him, the train managed to escape, and I had to chase it for like 5 minutes. I then spotted this guy on the train, and I eliminated him. Even after I used all my shockwaves, I still didn't manage to get onto the train. Since I couldn't get on the train, I decided to try to go where people were fighting, and then I got beamed by this one kid who eliminated me. I was thinking to myself, at least this match went a little bit better than the last one. To end off the day, I decided to load into this creative map so I could go against some pretty sweaty players. To start off day 5, I decided to load into a map where I could practice my crosshair placement. I went all around this map trying the different types of edits and like where to put my crosshair, but I just felt like this wasn't really helping me at all, so I decided to load into a different practice map where I could both practice my editing and aiming. When I got into the map, I decided to go straight to the editing section so that I could be a little bit more confident with my edits. The only thing I really did on the editing part was triple edits. After I was done with this and I felt like I was actually progressing a little, I decided to go to the aim section. And to my surprise, I actually was pretty good at aiming. I went to all the different sections, making sure that I was good with all different types of aiming. And then when I finally felt ready, I decided to load into another OG game. When I got into the game, I decided to land Retail Row. And I'm not going to tell you about this whole game, but what I am going to say is that I did win this game. And if you want to see the whole game, you're going to have to go check my channel in probably a couple of days, because I'm going to be posting this since it is my first official win on mouse and keyboard. You're probably thinking right now, why would I want to go watch that? But just so you know, I did actually get some pretty hilarious trap kills in this game. So make sure you go watch that video when it comes out. But after I played that OG game, I decided to hop into a reload game. In this game, I decided to land at Semi Stacks, where I got my first 3 eliminations. I then moved all around the map, getting myself many more eliminations. By the time rebooting had ended, I had gotten myself 11 kills. There were now 3 other people left in my game. This is when I started to realize that my luck from last game might have carried on to this one. I then managed to get myself my 12th elimination and made it a 1v1 situation. This guy was originally freaking me out until I hit this mammoth pistol shot on him, and then I realized that I was going to win this game. And luckily for me, I did. That means I got 2 wins in the same day on mouse and keyboard. On day 6, I decided to try to practice some of the edits I had struggled with on the past days. And to my surprise, I actually didn't do half bad. After I was done with that, I decided to load into a 1v1 map to try to 1v1 someone. At first, I was officially having like a 1v1 with somebody, and then this random pickle joined, and then I just started messing around with him, like trying to pickaxe him or something. After I felt like I was done practicing, I decided to load into my first Battle Royale game of the day. When I got in the game, I decided to land at Vader's Samurai Solitude, where I got myself my first few eliminations. I then decided to take the TIE Fighter around the map to try to find other players. I kept getting myself elimination after elimination, and this game was actually looking promising for me. There were now less than 10 players left, and I had gotten myself 11 eliminations. And it didn't end there. I kept getting myself elimination after elimination until it was now a 1v1v1. One of the players had died, and I now knew that this was my time to strike. I went over to the last player, got him low, and then he made the decision that got him killed. He got in a car, and I hit headshots. I had finished this game with the win and with 16 eliminations. I was hoping, just like yesterday, I could use this luck to help me get another win, so I decided to load into Reload. When I got into the game, I decided to land at Retail Row, where I got my first 2 eliminations and had a really close call. I then decided to move around the map and get myself more and more eliminations. There were now 10 players left, including me, and I had 6 eliminations. Players kept dying, and I kept getting eliminations until it was finally a 1v1v1. I then took out one of the last guys and got myself my 10th elimination. After that, I decided to try and push that last kid, but sadly he shockwaved me in the storm, and I tried to make it back in, but I fell off the house and I died to fall damage.
Bruh.
Today was the day that I had grinded countless hours of practice maps for. It was the day that I 1v1'd 2 of my friends at once. I couldn't just hop straight into the 1v2 though, I had to practice a bit. Knowing this, I decided to hop into a box fight map, and I didn't do great, but at least I did better than how I was doing on day 1. After dying countless times in this box fight map, I decided to load into Desert Zone Wars. I did try to play this map for a little while, but I left almost immediately because of them actually adding aimbot into their map. I did not feel ready whatsoever for the 1v2, but I ran out of time. I had to load into the game with my friends now. We were going to be doing both a box fights 1v2 and a zone wars 1v2, starting off with the box fights 1v2. Once we got in, they started racking up wins, and I got a few, but I felt like I was the only one actually playing box fights while they were just shooting at me. I'm not going to bore you with the whole game because honestly it didn't go well. The score ended as 4-10 with me losing. I was just now hoping that they played a little bit better in Zone Wars and they weren't just trying to shoot me. Of course, just like box fights, all they did was really shoot at me. I did manage to get myself some wins, but there's not much you can really do when 2 players are shooting at you at once. I had lost the 1v1, technically 1v2 that I had prepared the whole week for, but but it's fine because it's still week 1 and I am still pretty bad. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing. The channel right now is at 600 subscribers, and if everyone watching could subscribe, it would really help me out, and it would help me to achieve the huge goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers.